The text came through at 2:11 a.m. Daddy, are you awake? I was halfway asleep in a roadside motel, the TV flickering some late-night rerun I wasn't really watching. I stared at the screen for a few seconds before replying. I'm here. What's wrong? 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Nothing. I just couldn't sleep. That should have been the end of it. Kids have bad dreams. 10-year-olds wake up scared. But something in my chest tightened, the same instinct I'd learned to trust during long deployments and longer nights worrying about my family from thousands of miles away. Where's Mom? I typed. No answer. I waited. 1 minute. 2. Finally, she said she's busy. Busy. At 2 in the morning. I didn't text back. I didn't call. I just grabbed my keys. I hadn't told my wife I was coming. The trip was supposed to be next weekend. Work, schedules, excuses. But the highway was empty, my thoughts loud, and every mile closer felt heavier than the last. I kept replaying that word in my head. Busy. When I pulled up outside the house just before dawn, the porch light was off. Curtains drawn. The place looked asleep. Too asleep. I unlocked the door quietly, the familiar click sounding louder than it ever had. And that's when I saw her. My daughter was curled up on the floor, right against the door, using her backpack as a pillow. Wrapped in a thin blanket, knees pulled to her chest like she was bracing herself against something unseen. For a second, my brain refused to process it. Then it hit me all at once. I dropped to my knees, heart pounding, the smell of dust and old wood filling my nose. Hey, baby, I whispered, touching her shoulder. She startled awake instantly, eyes wide with fear, until she saw me. Daddy. Her voice cracked. I pulled her into my arms, feeling how cold she was. Too cold. Why are you sleeping here? She hesitated. That pause was everything. So I can hear if you come home, she said finally. If. I carried her to her room, tucked her in, sat on the edge of the bed like I used to when she was smaller. She kept holding onto my hand, fingers tight, like she was afraid I might disappear. Where's Mom? I asked gently. She shrugged. Out. I think. Out. Again. I waited until she fell asleep before standing up. My legs felt unsteady, like I was walking on something that might give way beneath me. The house didn't feel like my home anymore. I didn't confront my wife right away. Part of me still wanted an explanation that made sense. A harmless one. I checked the kitchen, takeout containers for 2, wine glasses still on the counter. One of them had lipstick on the rim. My wife rarely wore lipstick anymore. Her phone was charging on the counter. I told myself I wouldn't look. I looked. There were no explicit photos. No obvious smoking gun. Just messages. Dozens of them. A name I didn't recognize. Casual at first. Then familiar. Then intimate in that quiet, everyday way that hurts worse than anything dramatic. Did she fall asleep waiting again? I hate that he's never here. I wish this could be real. My hands started shaking. I scrolled further back. Months. While I was away. While I was working overtime to give us a better life. While my daughter learned to sleep by the door in case her mother didn't come home. I sat down hard in a chair, memories crashing over me. Family dinners that felt rushed. Missed calls explained away by bad reception. Her irritation when I asked too many questions. The way she guarded her phone like it held her pulse. All the signs I'd ignored because trusting her felt easier than imagining this. The front door opened around 8. She froze when she saw me. What are you doing here? She asked, then immediately corrected herself. I mean, why didn't you tell me? I held up her phone. Her face drained of color. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The silence felt thick, suffocating. She sleeps by the door, I said quietly. Did you know that? She looked away. That's your answer. My voice cracked despite my effort to stay calm. You couldn't even make sure she was in her bed. Tears welled up in her eyes. I never meant for it to go this far. That sentence felt like a knife. Not I didn't do it. Not I'm sorry. Just, it went too far. So it started small. I asked bitterly. She nodded. I was lonely. You were always gone. He listened. And our daughter? I gestured down the hall. Who listened to her? She broke down then, sobbing into her hands, saying words like mistake and confused and I still love you. I wanted to scream. I wanted to hold her. I wanted to rewind time to before my daughter learned that the floor by the door felt safer than her own bed. Instead, I stood up. I'm taking her with me, I said. For now. For now, she whispered. For now, I repeated. Because I didn't know what forever looked like anymore. That night, my daughter slept in a real bed. I stayed up in a chair beside her, listening to her breathe, realizing how close I'd come to missing the truth. Betrayal doesn't always explode. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it leaves a child sleeping on the floor, waiting for someone who may or may not come home. I don't know what my future holds. I only know this. Love without responsibility isn't love at all. And I will never ignore a quiet cry for help again, even if it comes in the form of a single late-night text. Daddy, are you awake? This time, I was.